What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. And guess what? The Motor City Cats is back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. Guess what? The Hat King. 75th anniversary. You know what it is. Got that embossed Lions logo on there. Looking so sweet. Looking so clean. Looks so good with my victory buffs. And that's what we are rocking today. We are rocking the victory buffs because all we do is win, 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 no matter what. No matter what is going to be tested because man, I don't know how much. And we're going to get into all the things that happened. We're going to get into the game. Obviously, it was a thrilling game, a thrilling finish, which didn't look like it was going to be that way. It didn't look like it needed to be that way. But for some odd reason, I keep being right about these divisional games. Divisional games are not games that you need to be predicting as blowouts. You don't blow people out in divisional games. I mean, now sometimes it's a rarity that you do. It's not one of those things which is normal. Okay, so it's not normal to blow out a divisional opponent. Yes, we're gonna get into that. K ain't pressed. We're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get it. Let's jump into it. As I said, divisional games are not games where you are you're not gonna blow people out. Okay. Again, I'm gonna keep going back to it. Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 8-2, and the Cleveland Browns were 2-8, and the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cleveland Browns. That wasn't something that was abnormal. It wasn't something that was like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe that they lost to these people. They're such a bad team. Yes, they're in the division. There's 3 rules in divisional games. 3. We know you, we hate you, and we want to ruin your season. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're at the top or the bottom. Okay. And then the teams that are worse in divisional games have a little bit more fuel to their fire because they are the ones that are at the bottom, and they are the ones that everyone kicks around, and they are the ones that are more likely than not interested in playing spoiler. We want to ruin your season is more so from those people or for those teams that are at the low end, especially at this time of the season. All right, well, if we beat the Lions, we're not going to the playoffs. But if we beat the Lions, 1, we feel good about ourselves. 2, we knock them down a peg as they're in this race for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. So we're going to knock them down, and we're going to play spoiler. This is what the Bears were thinking. Now, the Bears came into this game, and we talked about it in the lead up, okay? What Bears team were we going to see? Was it going to be a team that was emotionally beat down because they just lost a heartbreaker a couple of weeks ago to the Green Bay Packers at home? Then they just lost a heartbreaker last week to the Minnesota Vikings at home. Now they're going on the road. They're in a hostile environment. They're down 16-0. Should have been 23-0, but you know what? Freak things happen. I think Jahmyr Gibbs fumbled once last season, and that was in the NFC Championship game. Now he got his 1 fumble out of the way this season. I would rather it be a Thanksgiving game than an NFC Championship game where he fumbles. But he fumbled going into the end zone. I think they were on like the 5-yard line. And then that stopped us from going up 23-0 at halftime, which pretty insurmountable lead, right? You're down 23 points, okay? Hard to come back from, okay? That's at least 3 scores, right? So it opened the door. Remember when we were in Texas and we were down 16 points, 23-7, going into the half, okay? Obviously, we have a better team. There were a lot of fans that thought that game was over. I never really thought it was over. because we were only down 16 points. Had we been down 23 points, had it been 23 to nothing and 20 instead of 23 to 7, here's the thing. Well, they scored 23 and a half and we didn't score anything. So we could have scored 23 in the next half and they didn't score anything, and then it could have gone to overtime. Okay? That would have been the stretch. That would have been as far as your imagination could stretch, but you absolutely could not allow them to score again. Okay? And pretty much that scenario happened. Okay? What did we win that game? 26 to 23. So they didn't score again in the second half. You know, it is what it is. But so going into the second half, it's 16-0. The Bears get the ball back. They come down. They drive. They score their first touchdown. You know, we go back. We get another touchdown. It's 23 to 7. And they go on to score 2 more touchdowns. They failed a 2-point conversion. So that was 13 points. Big ridiculousness with the end of that game, and how both Caleb Williams and Matt Eberflus explained why you don't take a timeout. Here's the thing. I've said Caleb Williams, hero ball, decision making, all of that is going to come back and bite him. I'm going to give Caleb Williams his props. Caleb Williams, as an NFL quarterback, should have a pretty decent career. I'm not going to call him a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to call him a superstar. I'm not going to call him a Holmes-esque, because this is what the Chicago Bears fans, Chicago Bears media, content creators, all that, they just want to, oh man, you know, when he was like scrambling to his right and he was about to go out of bounds and he just dumped that pass over to DJ Moore, that was Mahomes-esque. I mean, okay, cool. This is where they're getting into trouble, okay? Because maybe they don't have the expectations, okay? Yes, TaylorMade, they were a step or two from getting the dub, but they didn't get the dub. But had they gotten the dub, it wouldn't have been a surprise. I wouldn't have been here doom and gloom and the season is over, because, as I said, it was a divisional round game. I mean, a divisional game, not divisional round game. But the thing with that is you have to rein in the expectations. Stop comparing this man to Patrick Mahomes. He's a rookie, okay? And he has to have time to develop. He doesn't even have a coach right now that could help him reach any type of potential. Okay, Matt Eberflus is still the coach of the Bears as of 7 p.m. on Friday. Did y'all get any notifications that said the Bears fired Matt Eberflus? K ain't pressed. Why are you so ready for us to lose? Why are you so ready for us to get beat? I don't get it. Did he get the axe? Okay. What time did he get the axe? Because that just makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. All right. I wanted to check that out beforehand. Okay. Thomas Brown's the interim head coach. Okay. So we'll see how that works out with Thomas Brown. Okay. Most Bears fans didn't want to see that happen. They wanted to see someone else become the interim head coach because they were happy with the work that Thomas Brown was doing. Yeah, we play good and extra hard too. We're trying to lock up the number 1 seed. We know what's at stake. We can't just be, letting games get away. Um, so the Thomas Brown thing, right? Because he was doing decent work with Caleb Williams, people wanted him to just kind of focus on Caleb Williams. Now he's got the um, now he's got the added responsibility of being the coordinator of the entire football team, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, because he's got to deal with now the late game situation and all these things that Matt Eberflus just completely botched yesterday. You had the players sniping at the coaching staff. You had Matt Eberflus having to be. He had to take accountability because it was the last thing possible. Like, short of the reporter coming up there and being like, bro, do you know how bad this is? Do you understand what you did? So he finally took accountability. Like, he had talked for 5 minutes at the podium before he actually took accountability for anything that happened yesterday. I saw that something happened about the tripping or whatever the case may be. We'll get into the JMO stuff. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Just doing the recap of the game and the situation. So that last play. Here's the thing with Caleb Williams. The awareness for the big moments has not been developed on an NFL level. And I think if he gets the right coach, it will get developed. Free rusher. He said he saw him come free, but he didn't want to throw it away because he may have batted it up in the air. It may intercept. Bro, you can't take a sack and push yourself out of field goal range when you are down 3. You can't do that. That's number one, Caleb. Number two, I checked the play. I didn't call a timeout because I had called a timeout before. You got sacked with 35 seconds left or whatever the case may be. You get up, you call a timeout. Okay? Because now if you're checking a play and you're trying to change the play, you saw all the, and you see the amount of time they got the snap with 6 seconds left. He's like, oh, I got to give Rome a better ball there. No, you don't have to. There's 2 defenders back there. It's very, very improbable that Rome Odunze would have come down with that ball in the end zone. Okay, you had a safety over the top, and you had a corner in trail position. It would have had to be a miraculous play. So the best thing to do would have been to call a timeout there. For all of the good that Caleb Williams did, he took that sack, and then he made that decision. It was 2 sequences the last 2 sequences at the very end of the game, which gave them no chance to win it, which gave them no chance to tie it, which gave them no chance to take it to overtime and extend the game and see if they could have done anything there. So this is the problem. And Caleb Williams is a young quarterback. He is a rookie. I've gained the respect for him and his ability to learn from things, and he has the talent. He's extremely slippery in the pocket. He's gonna be good if, and I've said this, if he can remove the hero ball, if he can understand late game situation and big spot situation, not just late game, big spots in the game. All right. But obviously, I hope when he plays the Detroit Lions that he doesn't understand those things, and he continues not to understand those things, because I am not a Bears fan. I am a Lions fan. All right. Well, so K ain't pressed. We're going to get to that. All right. We'll get to that right now. So now, the positive is that we won the game. We're 11-1 for the first time in franchise history. We're on a 10-game winning streak, which is the longest in franchise history. We have an opportunity to go to an 11-game winning streak next Thursday when we play the Green Bay Packers at home on Thursday Night Football, and that would be fantastic. Now, here's the negative. Malcolm Rodriguez, is done for the season. We just lost Alex Anzalone for, 6 to 8 weeks, a couple weeks before this, or a couple games before this. Now we've lost Malcolm Rodriguez for the damn season with a torn ACL. We've signed Quan Alexander. Now, if you probably remember Quan Alexander, he used to be a Pro Bowl linebacker. He's played for the Jets. He's played for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, and then he tore his Achilles. I think it was week 9. So now he had signed to the Broncos practice squad, and he had played 3 games. He'd been in 3 games this season and had 8 tackles. If Quan Alexander can return to form, I mean, David Long the third, or is it the David Long Jr.? I think he's been solid in there, right? And he was a guy that used to be good back in the day. So the Lions got him, and he's been solid. He's been doing his thing. Now we gotta hope that Quan Alexander comes in and does his thing. The Lions are signing. What's his name? Let me see. What's this dude's name? Jonah Williams, not Jonah Jackson. Jonah Williams from the Rams practice squad, the LA Rams practice squad. Mile Marker, welcome in, my guy. I did not see the game at all. I didn't even know what time it was on. Like, to be quite honest with you, I thought it was going to be like a night game, but I guess it wasn't. So I did not see the game at all. But I heard that the Chiefs won 19-17. I'll go ahead and take a look at it later on, rewatching some games. The Lions injury situation, man, is just, how many injuries can you have? How many next man up situations can you have? K, you are very pressed. Okay, you are very pressed about this Lions team. You need to change your name. K is very pressed. All right, you thought the Colts were gonna beat our ass. They didn't even score a touchdown. They got 2 field goals. Right, so just relax. We are indoors. We are at home. We stop the run. Okay, and this is what the Packers do best. Carlton Davis will probably be back for that game, okay? And we're not going to have to fret about Kendall Vildor. Now, let's also talk about Kendall Vildor in a bit. But the Lions injury situation, man, it's just ridiculous. We just keep losing players, but then we also keep doing what we got to do. Now, here's the thing. We didn't let up 20 points in the second half because of the players that we lost. Brian Branch gave up a touchdown to DJ Moore. Okay? Keenan Allen, those touchdowns, Amik Robertson, he fell down on a route. So it wasn't the depth that was giving up those touchdowns. Amik Robertson is our starting nickel corner. Brian Branch is our starting strong safety. We did not give up those touchdowns because of depth, because of injuries. Okay? El-Qadim Muhammad came in, or what do we call him, AQM? AQM came in and got 2 sacks. We have 5 sacks that game. Zadarius Smith had a sack and a half. DJ Reader had a sack, right? So that's not why we gave up those touchdowns, okay? Now, when you play as many games as we have played and you don't get a break, right? Sometimes your focus gets, zapped. You get a little bit sloppy. I feel like that's what happened in the second half. I feel like because the first half was so damn easy, okay, defensively, because offensively we left points on the board. There were some things that we didn't do to execute down in the red zone. So to be quite honest with you, we should have gone into the halftime 30-0. Somewhere 31-0, somewhere around there. Okay. Jake Bates uncharacteristically missed the field goal. That was his first field goal that he missed in the regular season, right? So now he has a missed field goal and a missed PAT. Okay. But it wasn't in a losing effort, so it really doesn't matter. But again, the injuries are concerning. They're very concerning. But we can't do anything about it. Like, this is the thing. This is football, man. So we can't cry about it. We just got to have next man up mentality. Now, we've had that all year. We did not lose the one game that we lost due to injury. We did lose it due to our inability to execute in the red zone. And that hadn't cropped up again all year. But this game, it was a little bit concerning. But now we do have at least a week to kind of heal up a bit and to game plan. It's not a short week. Thursday to Thursday, that's regular, right? Thursday to Sunday, or Sunday to Thursday, that's a short week. Thursday to Thursday, this is a regular week of preparation. And then we're going to have a mini bye when who's that? Who's next? Is that Buffalo or no? We got to go to Chicago. I think Chicago is after Green Bay. But we'll have a mini bye. We'll have 10 days, before that game. Next man up, Kindle Vildor. Now, I was so not trying to see Kindle Vildor play in this game. Emmanuel Mosley, man. Emmanuel Mosley is someone that I don't know if we're going to be able to count on him to do anything. He was inactive for yesterday's game, and he was ruled inactive after warm-ups. Apparently, he couldn't, accelerate 100%, couldn't run 100%. So obviously, he was ruled out, as not to aggravate anything or whatever. Excuse me. So the health of Emmanuel Mosley, man. I just, you root for the guy. He's come back from so much adversity. He had two season-ending injuries back to back. He had a third injury, which was his torn pec, that in some cases is a season-ending injury. But we had the same thing last year with CJ, right? And we saw him come back. Obviously, he came back like right at the tail end of the season because it was 2 weeks into the season. Now, Emmanuel Mosley injured this pec, in training camp preseason. So that's why he was able to come back last week in week 12. Packed in Bills and Bears. Okay. Yeah, okay, there you go. Packed in Bills and Bears, then 49ers, then Vikings. Okay. So Emmanuel Mosley, man, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with him. But it might just be time to retire. It just might just be. It seems as though the body is just not trying to do football anymore. Okay, and that's not on Emmanuel Mosley. That's not on his mental toughness. That's not on his, physical toughness. That's just, the body has limitations, and once the body starts breaking down, it breaks down. And it is what it is. But Kindle Vildor, great game yesterday. As I said, I did not want to see him play. Now, going from last year, okay, again, I was a guy that was a defender of Kindle Vildor. I did not blame Kindle Vildor for the things that everyone else was blaming Kindle Vildor for, like, the ball went off of his helmet. That guy wasn't supposed to have the coverage on Brandon Ayuk that he had, right? So he played over what you would say I wouldn't say his capabilities. Obviously, no one felt that he was supposed to have those capabilities. He's the sixth cornerback on our roster. Okay. But last week, when we played against the Indianapolis Colts, he looked so bad. He was the target from jump. Anthony Richardson, who can't throw the football very accurately, was over there like, I'm just going to pick on Kendall Vildor. So just the quarterback that decided to pick on you was probably, it probably made things a little bit worse. And he was right to pick on you because you were out of position. You were, getting beaten man coverage all over the yard. Okay. So now what did you do as Kendall Vildor? You shored up your coverage. You started playing like you played last year. And I said, I don't know if he was nervous, okay, last week against the Colts or whatever the case may be, but he looked really, really bad. And maybe it's because he didn't have a whole lot of snaps this year. Maybe last year he was more comfortable in a role where he wasn't supposed to be there, but he was thrust into a starting role. So he was like, yep, I'm going to show and prove. I'm going to give everything I got. And he was brought back because he earned the trust of the coaching staff. But last week just wasn't it. This week, it was more of what you saw last year with him filling in admirably and not being a liability. Last year, there were only a few things that you could look at and be like, man, that was, look at the Dallas game where Derek Barnes missed the safety in the end zone and Kendall Vildor fell down and it led to a 98-yard touchdown by CeeDee Lamb. Okay, it shouldn't have been something he was covering on because it should have been a sack. But these are things that are hindsight, right? So gotta give Kendall Vildor his props. I think he only let up like 2 catches for 14 yards, and then there was the interference penalty, which, listen, even Bears fans thought that was ridiculous. I kid you not. I was listening to a Bears podcast after the game, and even the Bears content creators thought that was a BS call. Okay, the call that extended the drive that gave them the opportunity to either win or tie the game, the Bears fans admitted that was a call that should not have been made. Okay, so when the Bears fans crying over Matt Eberflus and his late games, situational game management and his inability to call a timeout and all of that mismanagement. Before all of that happened, the pass interference call on Kendall Vildor was BS. Okay, so shout out to Kendall Vildor. I hope he doesn't have to fill in next week against the Packers. What up, though, Mr. Morale 313? John Doe, what up, though? I hope he doesn't have to fill in. I hope Carlton Davis is back. I hope Taylor Decker is back. I think these are 2 players that would have played had it not been a short week. I think Dan Campbell said that already. So we shouldn't see Kendall Vildor next week. But you never know, man, because this injury bug that we've been bit by is crazy right now. It is very, very, very crazy. John Doe, I'm not. Hey, tell me what you thinking in the chat. I'm not gonna get into that. But what did you come up with? What did you come up with that makes you say that? So John Doe, come on now. That's what I was just giving Vildor his flowers because of his play against the Bears. He was awful against the Indianapolis Colts, but he filled in admirably, man. He let up 2 catches for 14 yards and a phantom DPI. So no, I'm giving him his flowers for the Bears game. He did what he was supposed to do. He filled in for Carlton Davis the way he was supposed to. And you weren't calling his name, and he wasn't getting burnt. He wasn't looking like Jeff Okudah out there like he was against the Colts. But again, the injury situation, man, is crazy. If you guys don't know, Malcolm Rodriguez out for the season, torn ACL. We've signed Quan Alexander. Back in his heyday, He was really good. Played for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a former Pro Bowl player, so hopefully he will return. They're not going to sign Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard, I think he's got some legal issues, and he seems like a POS, all right? And I don't mean point of sale. So they're not signing Xavier Howard. There's a reason. I don't think he's on a team. Hell, even Tre'Davious White. Okay, even Tre'Davious White, after he was traded for by the Ravens. He was over there sucking in LA, and then the Ravens even traded for him. So, I don't think Xavier Howard is. I think he might be done in the league. So the JMO situation. Okay. Here's the thing. There were lots of tweets yesterday. Lots of tweets about JMO. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I'm the official keeper of the JMO. Okay? I don't have anything bad to say about JMO. I defend him every time. Listen, let's go through his transgressions. The number one transgression that he had is he was injured, okay, when we drafted him. People wanted to dump on him for that. The gambling thing. I found out yesterday what the gambling thing was. Does anybody know what the gambling thing was? Does anyone know what he actually did to get suspended first for 6 games and then they reduced it to 2 games? All right. And I know someone tried to correct me and say, no, it was 4 games. No, he served 4 games of a 6-game suspension before it was reduced to 2 games, which is why he was automatically reinstated. Okay, so does anybody in the chat know what he actually did in order to get suspended for these 2 games? All right, I'll see if anybody can put anything up there, and then I'm going to move on to his next situation, which was the PES. Okay? All right, TaylorMade Media says no. So, okay, what he actually did was he was playing on an online casino at a team-sanctioned hotel. He was not betting on sports of any kind. He was playing in an online casino. So I guess you're playing a little blackjack or hitting the slot machines, online casino. This is what got him suspended for 2 games. Okay. All right. So then we had the PES suspension. Okay. We still don't know what that is. There was no Marshawn Lynch penalty. There was no penalty for that play, John Doe. It was a celebration of a touchdown. There has been no penalty. He was fined. Okay? And so the same energy, John Doe, I want you to keep for Amon-Ra St. Brown, who flipped the ball at the Dallas Cowboys sideline after scoring a touchdown. He scored the touchdown and then ran over there and flipped it. Okay? Now people are saying what happened with well, we can't say it should have been because they didn't call it. It was a celebration. Now what? Just like what Mile Marker said, he said as he went out of bounds, Tariq Stevenson tripped him. Tariq Stevenson, the guy that was over there taunting the fans when the Bears lost that Hail Mary. Tariq Stevenson, the guy that tipped the ball to Noah Brown. The Gibbs taunting call was the weakest taunting call that I've ever seen in my life. He just the weakest taunting call I've ever seen in my life. All right, but St. Brown, he's got all types of celebrations, but he went over and he flipped the ball to the Dallas sideline and he got the 15-yard penalty. Okay. No one said anything about St. Brown being immature. He needs to know better. He needs to know. Okay. Then the situation, if Tyreek Stevenson, if someone says Tyreek Stevenson, this guy who found out he was going to be benched for the first quarter of the game after the Washington game, storms out of practice. This guy is the guy that you flipped the ball at who apparently tripped you on your way out of bounds. If someone says Tyreek Stevenson tripped Jamo on his way out of bounds, do you not believe it? I believe it. Right? I believe it. Can we all agree that Patrick is better than Reynolds? Well, Patrick's always been better than Reynolds. He just had injuries that he dealt with. Oh, you're asking? Oh, okay, yeah. I think he flipped it. I think he went to their sideline and flipped it. He tossed it over there. So we're talking about a penalty and a fine. Now, here's what Dan Campbell had to say. Dan Campbell said, to be honest with you, that's already cleaned up. Jamo went a few minutes ago and stood up in front of the team unsolicited. They did not, no coach asked him to do that. Okay, we want to talk about maturity. Okay, he went and he stood up in front of the team. He addressed the team. He apologized to his entire team for losing his cool, understanding he had to be smarter than that, understanding he couldn't make that mistake. No coach told him to do that. Dan Campbell said, unsolicited, he went over there and he did that. Come on, man. Jamo is not this guy, okay? Jamo is not this guy that people are trying to paint him out to be. He is a fun-loving kid, but he is a kid. He just turned 23 years old, okay? Some people mature at different levels or at different rates than others. That's just it, man. Yes, he has to mature. Everybody has to mature. Everybody has growing up that they have to do. Okay? But Jamo is fine, man. Jamo is fine. I mean, people talking about we need to trade him in the offseason. We need to cut him now. Bro, for what? I don't understand. You know? I don't see, here's the thing, TaylorMade. I don't think that Dan Campbell was lying. Because remember, Dan Campbell has come around on Jamo. Okay? And Jamo even said this. He said that there was a point where they were bumping heads. And exactly, right? He's in the locker room, live streaming, you know what I mean? But he said they used to bump heads about stuff. Remember when Dan Campbell said two things about Jamo that he's completely turned around from. He said, number one, he said he's probably not ever going to be a great hands catcher because he felt this about him at the time. Number two, when he did get the gambling suspension, remember when they came in, they asked him, okay, before it was announced, okay, what about Jamo? Blah, blah, blah. He's here. He's in the building. Next question. Okay, this is how Dan Campbell, this was his energy towards Jamo. Look at his energy now. Bro, we're good, man. It's been handled. That's been cleaned up. We moved on. We're not worried about that. He even went and apologized to his team unsolicited. Nobody said. Like, this kid, look, yep. We gave him the rope. He slipped off the rope a little bit, but, he told us about the gun thing, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Like, Dan Campbell is completely behind this kid. Everybody on the team is completely behind this kid. Coach Randall L. chewed him out on the sidelines after the ball flip, but he loves that kid. He loves that kid, man. He benched him for the rest of the game, which, probably was more detrimental to the offense than that 15-yard penalty. But I understand why you bench him because you're teaching them in the moment. Okay, Now, that's either a big flex, like, well, we don't even need you to beat the Bears because the Bears are the Bears, or that was kind of a risky coaching decision. Okay, but we won the game, so we'll just say it was a big flex. Bro, see, John Doe, that's just ridiculous. I was with you when you came in talking about con artists. Titus Young has bipolar disorder. Titus Young is bipolar. And when he goes off of his meds, he does things like breaks into people's houses and, gets arrested and goes. No. Titus Young was bipolar. Titus Young told you that he thought he should get the same type of treatment as Megatron. No. This is not Titus Young. Not at all. Oh my goodness. So anyway, no, tailor-made. It's not just that he's protecting his players. It's not protecting the players. Dang, look, when you tell the media that you don't think that this receiver will ever be a good hands catcher, that's not protection of players. That's not. But he is going to protect the guys who have shown that they are a part of the grit culture. That's the people that are a part of the fabric of this team. Okay? J-Mo is a part of the fabric of this team. They are not, they have all put their arms around this kid. This is his family. Okay? And we all got that cousin or even the brother, sometimes they mess up. They mess up a lot. But when J-Mo does something serious, then I'll sit up here and say, hey man, look, bruh, come on now. You can't do that. You might need to be off the team because he hasn't done anything serious. Okay? He's immature. Okay, cool. A lot of players are immature. All right. He said maybe he has Tourette syndrome. Maybe if you see him out there on the field talking about some mustard, okay, maybe he has Tourette syndrome. All right. But look, man, tailor-made, you got to go back. I am the official Dan Campbell anger translator. You got to go back and look at his energy. Look at the energy he has had for J-Mo these past 2 years as opposed to what he had for the first year. You got to go back and look at it, man. You got to, because that'll tell you something about Dan Campbell. Okay? Dan Campbell is not up here. This is the thing. What you're saying is that he's not authentic, and every player to a man that you ask about Dan Campbell will tell you the reason they love playing for Dan Campbell is he's always the same person. He is always authentic. He is always that same guy. He is never fake. He is never giving you BS. He's not going to blow smoke up your butt. He's going to tell you what you need to know, okay? He's going to tell you what you need to know and what you need to hear, not what you want to know and what you want to hear, okay? All right? So he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to keep it 100 with you the whole entire time. Nobody has ever left the team and said Dan Campbell was a phony. He was fraudulent. Even if you look at James Houston, who may have had attitudinal issues, okay? I'm a big James Houston fan. James Houston's never going to tell you anything different. The only person that ever said anything crazy about this team or this coaching staff was Isaiah Buggs. Look what type of behavior he was involved in. Okay? Criminal activity. All right? Terroristic threats. Brandishing guns against women. The dog thing, maybe that wasn't his fault. Maybe he was telling the truth about somebody left a dog on a rental property and he didn't even know the dogs were there. Possibly. But this is the only guy that tried to throw people under the bus. And then look at when it comes out, everything that he was involved in. Off the field. Come on. Tailor-made, nah, man. Yeah, I can't agree with you on this one. I can't agree with you on any. If you're saying because he's a player's coach and that's a good thing, yes. But as far as having ulterior motives or hiding things or anything, no, I can't say. Real authentic is the only thing you've ever heard about this man. That's it. You've never heard anything else. You've never heard anything different. And that's why people love to play for him. All right. So we're talking about JMO. We talked about Caleb. We talked about the game. What else is next on the docket? Hold on. We got some craziness. Hold on. Okay, so they think that Matt Eberflus is gonna come and work for the Detroit Lions next year. Oh my goodness, Matt Eberflus on the Lions. Look, the players hated Matt Eberflus. Okay, they hated Matt Eberflus. Okay, he is not. All right, so Kwan Alexander, as I said before, has been signed. Kwan Alexander, in his heyday, was playing for the San Francisco 49ers. He was a beast. He was a fast sideline to sideline linebacker, good tackler, loved to tackle, pretty good in coverage as well. So he can play in space. Now, he's going to have to play. Okay, I know he was on the practice squad in Denver. He's going to have to play immediately. So he's going to have this week to get acclimated, unless they're going to lean a little bit heavier on David Long and give Quan another week to get up to speed, or give him this mini, because he's got the mini bye coming up, because we've got the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night. So it's possible that he doesn't play this week. I think you can insulate the linebacking core, because now your linebacking core looks like this. Okay? Trevor Nowatzki, Ben Neiman, David Long. Am I missing anyone? Kwan Alexander. Like, we have no one. No one is left. Okay? No one that was supposed to, that we started this season. Oh, and Jack Campbell. Sorry. How did I miss Jack Campbell? Jack Campbell's number one. Okay? Jack Campbell. We got Ezekiel Turner over there. Ezekiel Turner, bro, was in there making plays. Okay? Ezekiel Turner came in there and got a tackle. Who is Ezekiel Turner? Okay, he was on the practice squad last week. All right? The only starting linebacker that we have from the beginning of this season is Jack Campbell. We ain't got Alex Anzalone. We ain't got Malcolm Rodriguez. We ain't got Derek Barnes. We don't have anybody except for Jack Campbell. And Jack Campbell's all you need. Okay? Speaking of Jack Campbell, that hit on Caleb Williams was extremely, extremely clean. There was nothing dirty about the hit. Caleb Williams, I don't know if you guys saw it. He came out after the game and he tried to accuse Jack Campbell of being dirty. He didn't say dirty. He said funky. He said, that play was a little funky. He dove straight at my knees. He didn't dive at your knees, right? He didn't dive at your knees. What he was trying to do was not take your head off, so he aimed at your waist. You got hit in the thighs, bro. You didn't get hit in the knees. Okay, Jack Campbell's a big man. What is he, a 6'5"? Okay? Like 6'5", 250, something like that. He's not a little guy, okay? When he hits your body, he hits a nice, there's a nice distance of body mass that he covers. Okay, Caleb Williams, get out of bounds. Okay, Caleb Williams thought he was Mahomes. You know what I mean? He thought he was gonna to get in there and juke him out and send them flying, and then pick up another 5 yards or something before anyone else came to run him out of bounds. But that wasn't the case. Okay, so yeah, Caleb Williams trying to call Jack Campbell dirty is ridiculous. Now, what's next for the Bears? I don't remember who they play next, but they might win because now they have the new coach bump. We saw what Thomas Brown did when he came in and gave the offense a little bit of life. I think the team is going to be energized. They are probably partying right now because Eberflus got fired. Eberflus was a terrible coach. I wish they would have kept him and signed him for a lifetime extension, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Yeah, so this linebacking core, I think, is going to be a little bit more insulated because our secondary is back and healthy. Man, we need Iffy in the worst way, bro. We need Iffy in the worst way. He needs to come back. I think he's got he's gonna have to sit out the Packers game and the Bills game. But he needs to be back for the remainder. He needs to be back for the Bears, 49ers, and the Vikings. Okay? Because he's gonna play that hybrid safety linebacker role because we need him to do that. we need his services. Okay? Because we are razor thin right now in the linebacking core. But Carlton Davis being back next week, so we're gonna have hopefully our full complement of secondaries and secondaries of safeties and corners. But man. All right. So let's go ahead and take some questions from the chat. John Doe never told me, he never elaborated on the situation of people being con artists. He asked me why. I don't know why, but I expected him to tell me like exactly what he was thinking. Did he find out some new information? About that. All right. So anybody in the chat, you guys have any questions about the game, any opinions about what I think moving forward? The craziest thing, and I guess everybody that watched the game, I think it was who is the dude that does the stuff with Tony Romo? It wasn't Al Michaels. Who was his partner? So what's up with Mosley? Yeah, I touched on that. I just don't think, honestly, that we'll ever really be able to count on Mosley. He was ruled out after warm-ups yesterday. It's something about he wasn't able to run full speed or whatever the case may be. I just don't think his body is ready to play football anymore. It's not his mind, it's not his mentality, it's not his desire, his want to, because obviously he wants to be out there, and he battled back from now 3 injuries. Okay, 2 of them were definitely season ending. 1 of them could have been season ending, but we saw something different with CJ to give us hope that, okay, yeah, you can come back from a torn pec that happens in the season, and especially because it's happened in the training camp. He was able to come back in week 12, but I just don't know. There always seems to be something, and I don't know what is it that you played last week and there didn't seem to be any issues. Now you come to warm-ups and you can't run full speed. What's the problem? I don't know. But that's what's going on with Mosley. Paul Thomas, what up, though, my guy? Yes, we are 11-1 for the first time in franchise history. Injuries are our concern right now. Other teams are not our concern so much. Injuries are our concern. We got to get back clicking on. We got to get back clicking on offense in the red zone. So TaylorMade Media says, you going with who at linebacker versus Jordan Love and his Packers? Whoever is on the roster. At this point, that's who you're going with. You're going with whoever is on the roster. There aren't many options. You don't have a lot that you you don't have a lot, of choices to choose from. No, Mr. Round 303, you're right. He can't catch a break, man. And it's crazy. He's a really good dude, man. He's been a positive mentor to Terrion Arnold, to Ennis Rakestraw, the young guys that we have in there. But it's his body is just breaking down on him. It's just not letting him go, But hopefully, he can play against the Packers. Hopefully, he'll be able to run 100%. I just don't. It's always going to be a hold your breath type of situation with him. Can he make it through the game? Can he make it through this play? You know what I'm saying? So whenever you see him out there on the field, it is what it is. But with Carlton Davis being back, it's not that much of a concern. He's going to play special teams, and we'll see what happens. Salute Paul Thomas. Salute. Yeah, but we're not gonna have much to do. I'm gonna be quite honest with y'all. I'm gonna tell you guys something. If you were looking for this stream, because remember I was supposed to stream the game live, I didn't make it. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I don't know what happened. Speaking of the body and betraying, I think my body betrayed me because over here in Australia, the game started at 4:30 a.m. I am 16 hours into the future. It's gonna rain today, guys. So, today for me is Saturday, right? It's gonna rain. Just bring your umbrellas. But so the game started at 4:30. I had my alarm set for 4:15, and then 4:30, and then 4:45, 5 o'clock. I missed all of the alarms. I woke up at 8 a.m. The game was already over. So I had to watch the game. They used to call it tape delay, but obviously I have Game Pass, so I can watch them whenever I want to watch them. So I had to do it that way. Couldn't watch it live. I did peek at the score first before I watched it, so I wouldn't be in for any surprises, just to make sure that the Lions won. But that's what happened. So if you were looking for the stream yesterday, you wanted to hang out with your boy and talk Lions and watch the game. Yeah, I was dead asleep. My body was like, we're gonna take this 8 hours, because I usually don't get 8 hours. I usually do not. I just be on my grind, and I may get 5 hours on a good day. 5 hours of sleep. So I guess sometimes it just catches up to you, and my body was like, nope, we're getting 8 hours. I don't care if you have a game to stream or not. So it was what it was. All right. Yeah, video on demand, VOD. Yeah, Game Pass has everything, man. It doesn't always work the greatest, and that pisses me off, because it's like, man, this is something that I pay for, so it should be perfect. You know what I mean? It should be perfect. So, but yeah, I was watching the game and had to finish it up in the car, and on my way to the barber, because my barber was out of town, which is why I was woofing for a few weeks. But now your boy back, what I'm saying, got the nice clean. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was my day yesterday. So All right. Any other questions? Obviously, we're gonna break down the Packers game. I'll probably will be able to have Easy on again Wednesday because I wanted to start doing my breakdowns on Friday because I just think that makes the most sense. You have the most information that you can have before the game. You know, Friday evening, everything's going to be in pretty much. We're going to know the injury report, who's going to be in, who's going to be out, and all that stuff. But Fridays are just not good days for him. Very busy. He's got a lot of stuff to do. So, yeah, probably. Yeah. Should be able to have him on the show Wednesday to break down the Packers versus the Lions. TaylorMade Media, get ready for lots of Jordan Love hate, as you call it. I just call it being realistic about what I see. His decision making is not great. Now, after the what's usually Victory Monday, I'll come in and we'll talk about the NFC North. I'll do the NFC North report because obviously I can't do it because the Vikings still have to play their game against the Cardinals. Obviously, we hope the Cardinals win. But I can say this. We need these teams that play our NFC North opponents to be better. If y'all watched the Dolphins game, what was that? What was that? I mean, Dolphins, what was that? What were you doing? I understand you're a hot weather team. I understand you were in the frozen tundra and it was cold and everything. But from the first drive of the Dolphins, where it was supposed to be the first drive and they muffed the punt, the route was on. The route was on. I mean, it was just, bro, this team, Odell Beckham has 8 catches for 50 yards total this season. We are in week 13. This man has 8 catches. He doesn't even get a catch a week. Tyreek Hill has gone missing. Jalen Waddle has gone missing. I said Tua wasn't that guy. I've never been a big Tua guy, but y'all could have put up a fight. You could have done something, man. I just stopped watching the game. I stopped watching the game. I was like, there's nothing, we don't have anything to talk about. The Packers are going to go ahead and win this game. What are the Packers now? 9-3? You know, they didn't give us any hope. You know, obviously we're not worried about teams within the division right now. Especially we've got 3 more divisional games left. 2 of them are at home. One of them is on the road. We're 3-0 against our divisional opponents. If we do drop one of those games, it's probably going to be one. By the time we go to Chicago, the new coach bump will be over. So I don't expect us to lose to Chicago and Soldier Field. Now it is going to be a very late, December game, and it's going to be cold and there may be snow or whatever the case may be, but our running game travels. So, does Odell have his boat docked? Probably. He probably does have his boat docked. I mean, Odell, man, that is a wasted career, man. He had Hall of Fame talent, but again, the injuries just. I'm not even going to talk about his focus or whatever the case may be. I just think it was the injuries. It is what it is. But the New York Giants have been a dumpster fire since Eli Manning left. I think it was trending towards dumpster fire, in his late years. But ruined careers. ruined seasons. A lot of stuff happened with the New York Giants. So Odell Beckham was exciting in his day. He was electric, but time to move on from Odell Beckham. Time to move on from expecting him to have that one resurgence. That one resurgence was when the Rams won the Super Bowl, and he was probably on his way to being the Super Bowl MVP in that game. Very tough to play in New York City, but I'm glad Aaron Rodgers is out there losing because it couldn't happen to a better guy. All right, guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you coming through. As always, the Motor City Cats are back at it. I came to give you stats, not static. But whatever you do, and I can't tell you what to do. I cannot. But if you want it, take it from me. Make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. We will see you guys next week on Victory Monday, because it's Victory Friday, baby. All we do is win, no matter what.